Have you ever been asked to do something that felt impossible? Maybe it was a school project that seemed too hard, or learning a new skill you didn't think you could do. Now imagine being asked to build a giant ocean ship without any tools, without any experience, and in the middle of the wilderness. That's exactly what happened to a young man named Nephi in the Book of Mormon. Nephi and his family had already been traveling for many years. They had left their home in Jerusalem because God warned them that the city would be destroyed. Since then, they had crossed deserts, faced hunger, broken bows, and many long, difficult days. It had not been an easy journey. But God had promised to lead them to a special place, a promised land. Finally, after years of travel, they reached the seashore. It was beautiful. There were trees, fruit, and fresh water. Nephi called the place Bountiful because it had so much. It must have felt like they had finally made it. But they hadn't. One day, the Lord spoke to Nephi and said something surprising. Build a ship. Not a small raft, not a canoe, a ship strong enough to carry his entire family across a huge ocean. Here's the important part. Nephi had never built a ship before. He wasn't a shipbuilder. He didn't have plans. He didn't even have metal tools. But instead of saying, I can't do that, Nephi asked a different question. He said, Lord, where shall I go to find ore to make tools? That's a big difference. Nephi didn't focus on what he couldn't do. He focused on how God could help him do it. God showed Nephi where to find rock that could be melted into metal. Nephi made tools. Then he went up into the mountain many times to pray and ask for guidance. Step by step, God taught him how to build the ship. But not everyone believed in him. Nephi's older brothers, Laman and Lemuel, laughed at him. They said he didn't know how to build a ship. They said it was foolish to think they could cross the ocean. They complained and doubted because they were afraid. But Nephi reminded them of all the times God had helped their family before, when he parted the Red Sea for Moses, when he provided food in the wilderness, and when he guided them day by day. If God could do those things, Nephi said, he could help them build a ship. Still, his brothers became so angry that they tried to stop him. They even tried to hurt him. But Nephi was not alone. The power of God protected him. When his brothers felt that power, they realized they were wrong. They were sorry, and they began to help. Little by little, plank by plank, the ship was completed. It wasn't built the way other ships were built. It was built the way the Lord showed Nephi. When the ship was ready, the family gathered seeds, fruit, and everything they would need. They stepped aboard and pushed out into the sea. At first, the journey went well, but after many days, some of Nephi's brothers forgot what they had learned. They began to argue and behave badly. They tied Nephi up so he could not lead or pray. Soon, a great storm arose. The wind howled, waves crashed against the ship. The storm drove them backwards for days, and everyone was afraid. At last, Nephi's brothers understood something important. When they chose wrong, they lost the Lord's guidance. They untied Nephi. Nephi prayed, and the storm stopped. Once again, God guided the ship. After many days at sea, they finally reached the promised land. They had crossed an entire ocean, not because Nephi was an expert shipbuilder, but because he trusted God. So what can we learn from Nephi building a ship? Sometimes we are asked to do hard things. It might be being kind when others are not. It might be standing up for what is right. It might be trying again when we feel like quitting. We don't have to know everything at the beginning. Nephi didn't know how to build a ship. He just knew how to ask for help. Faith doesn't mean something is easy. It means you trust God enough to take the next step. Nephi didn't build the whole ship in one day. He built it piece by piece, prayer by prayer, choice by choice. And in the end, his faith carried his family safely across the ocean to a new beginning. The next time you face something that feels too big, remember Nephi standing on the seashore. Instead of saying, I can't, you can say, where do I start? Step by step, you might be surprised at what you can build, because with faith, even something that seems impossible can carry you safely to where you're meant to be.